Invest in Senegal. Senegal's energy sector is emerging as a model for West African development, combining offshore oil and gas discoveries with forward-looking reforms to attract foreign investment. The country is set to end natural gas imports by 2026 following the launch of the GTA LNG project earlier this year. The ongoing conversion of the 335 megawatt Bel Air thermal power plant to LNG by year-end, and the development of new gas assets like Yaka Teranga, which are seeking fresh investment. Deep water exploration, LNG commercialization, and local content development are central priorities, supported by regulatory clarity, investor-friendly policies, and a skilled local workforce. Technology and innovation, from advanced offshore drilling to LNG infrastructure, are unlocking discoveries while reducing operational risk and emissions. With growing integration across the Western African energy market, Senegal offers investors high-impact opportunities in upstream, LNG and power projects, combining predictable governance, sustainable growth ambitions, and a strategic gateway to a rapidly expanding regional energy landscape.
They always say third time is a charm, and I know this third time is going to work. I've introduced the Minister twice, so for the third time, please help me welcome the Minister of Senegal, Minister Dior.
Excellences, distingués invités, Mesdames et Messieurs, c'est pour moi un grand honneur de prendre la parole aujourd'hui à l'occasion de l'Africa Energy Week. Et je remercie les organisateurs pour cette rencontre d'importance majeure qui nous offre un espace privilégié de dialogue et de coopération autour d'un enjeu vital pour notre continent, l'avenir énergétique de l'Afrique. Mesdames et Messieurs, le Sénégal, à l'instar de nombreux pays africains, a fait le choix de considérer ces ressources énergétiques comme des leviers stratégiques de transformation économique, de progrès social et de réduction des inégalités. Notre ambition est claire, faire de l'énergie un instrument de souveraineté, de prospérité partagée et de développement durable. C'est dans cet esprit que s'inscrivent les rediscussions en cours de certains contrats pétroliers. Elles répondent à une exigence de justice économique afin de garantir une répartition plus équitable des bénéfices issus de l'exploitation de nos ressources. Et cette démarche souveraine, assumée et responsable que mène le Sénégal, elle ne remet nullement en cause la parole donnée par l'État, ni la relation de confiance que nous entretenons avec nos partenaires. Elle traduit au contraire une volonté de bâtir des partenariats transparents, équilibrés et mutuellement bénéfiques. De la même manière, nous réfléchissons à l'adaptation de nos codes pétroliers et gaziers. Et cette éventualité ne vise pas à fragiliser l'investissement, mais au contraire, à le sécuriser et à le renforcer. Et le Sénégal est attaché à la stabilité de son cadre juridique. Cependant, nous demeurons ouverts à des ajustements destinés à améliorer la compétitivité, à garantir la prévisibilité et à mieux répondre aux aspirations légitimes de notre peuple. Notre continent est riche de ressources gazières, mais surtout aujourd'hui riche de ses ambitions et de son génie. Pourtant, nous sommes encore confrontés au paradoxe d'une Afrique assise sur d'immenses potentialités énergétiques, mais où trop de nos concitoyens vivent encore dans la pauvreté énergétique. L'Afrique ne peut plus accepter que ces richesses coexistent avec le manque d'électricité, le chômage des jeunes et la dépendance aux importations. C'est le sens de notre engagement au Sénégal. Transformer le gaz en emploi, en industrie, en infrastructure, en prospérité partagée. C'est pourquoi nous réaffirmons ici que le Sénégal reste un partenaire fiable, prévisible et déterminé, offrant un cadre fiscal et réglementaire stable et transparent. Mais nous affirmons également que l'exploitation de nos ressources doit servir d'abord et avant tout au développement de nos nations et au bien-être de nos peuples. Le moment est venu de transformer nos ressources en richesses partagées, nos potentiels en prospérité et nos ambitions en résultats tangibles pour nos populations. Et c'est à cela que nous vous invitons en vous parlant de notre projet Invest in Senegal. Et tel est l'engagement du Sénégal, telle est notre vision pour l'Afrique. Ensemble, venons investir au Sénégal, ensemble, investissons en Afrique. Je vous remercie de votre aimable attention.
Thank you so much. Not too bad, right? At least I can tell you, je m'appelle Tammy, j'habite Afrique du Sud. I'm trying a little bit. We're now going to go into the panel discussion. It's still focusing on Senegal. And the moderator for this is going to be Ibrahima Ndiaye. And he will be joined by panelists Ibrahima Noba, Alioune Gueye, Khady Dior Ndiaye, Massaer Cisse, and Mamadou Abib Diop. So please, a round of applause for our moderator and the panelists.
Ladies first, where do you want to sit?
I'm laughing because...
Just say Ali.
I'm going to say Ali.
There
Okay,
you go.
great. I'm not just the moderator, I'm also the form of entertainment. Over to our moderator.
Okay.
And
I don't know. It's up to you. Also, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, good. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Welcome to this high-level session on Senegal investment opportunities. We're going to discuss about key topics around the energy sector in Senegal, bringing together government officials, national oil company, international operators, but also the downstream players. And today's session will forego conventional speeches. We'd like to discuss about in-depth topics examining the pertinent and pressing topics around Senegal energy sector. And our objective will be clear and candidly, we'd like to address real challenges, opportunities for investors who wish to take part in Senegal energy journey. So please give a round of applause to my distinguished panelists. And today we are going to talk about those topics. And I would like to start with Ibrahima Noba, who is the Director of Exploration Ministry of Energy, Petroleum and Mine in Senegal. With my first question, we'd heard the ministry talking about the renegotiation of the contract. Could you please update us on the progress of this process and the government objectives?
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Good morning, all. Thank you, Ibra, for this question. I think this is a very important one that you are raising now, and giving the opportunity here to clarify this point. So regarding the commission that is put in place by the government of Senegal to review the contract. So I think it's important to clarify that this process is something that is provided by the legal text that is currently governing the current contract. And during the lifetime of the contract, so it's the right of each party to raise some concern regarding how the contract is conducted over time. And in this present case, it's the Senegal that raising that, but by putting in place a commission to review certain of contract. The idea behind is to talk about if the obligations that is in the contract is respected, the initial one. So we are talking about here the review of the contract to see if all this obligation has been respected. And also to see, depending the stage where we are on the contract, if we have a good balance between each partner within this contract. And what we observe globally in the project we are developing in Senegal, so in a certain point, so a government of Senegal so estimate that there is some unbalance between so the state sharing, even the national oil company sharing, and each partner. And it's important to notify that within a partnership, to be sure that we will live together during a long time, because we are talking about more than 20 years project that we are developing together. We need to be to have the serenity behind the partnership. So meaning need to put in place a right discussion, the open discussion, to discuss about all the topics that could be a blocking point for the state, but even for the other parties as well, because the other party could have also some blocking point and come to see the state and say, look, here we have some difficulties to develop the project, and we need the support of the state to moving forward. And that is also the right for the state also. So during the contract to say, so we are currently estimating that so the balance is not too fair, and need to sit to redefine the terms to see how each party could take a benefit on the project. So this is really currently the process that the government of Senegal is undertaking, and like the ministry said earlier, respecting all the obligation, all the legal terms. So all that process is done under the legal framework. So we are not doing something outside that, and we are really confident that we could discuss with our good partner to find out the right way to work together in the near future.
Thank you, Ibrahima. Very insightful, and I think it was important to give these insights so people should know exactly what is the objective of those negotiations. So let me turn to Alioune, CEO of Petrosen Holding SA. We've heard about the key performance indicators during your fireside chat with the previous panel. Following Sangomar and GTA, what are Petrosen's strategic priorities for expanding its upstream portfolio?
Yeah, thank you, Ibra. We have a number of strategic ventures that we are looking at today. First, I would say, one of our priority is Yaka Teranga. It's a field in which, I think there is about 20 TCF in gas that we want to harness by, doing our gas to power strategy. We believe that it is the key to reduce the cost of electricity in Senegal and actually beyond. So our strategy is to, develop that field and make sure, that gas to power, gas to industry that the minister was talking about, that we can implement it, very quickly. Apart from that, we have FAN. I don't know, FAN was the first offshore well, actually, that was drilled, in which I think initially we had about 900 million barrels. So we also at Petrosen, we are looking at that field to actually being able to develop it and be able to do it, with the infrastructure that we have at Sangomar, knowing that FAN is about 50 kilometers, from the Sangomar field. Apart from that, we have also big ambition on our onshore. Just to put it into perspective, the first well, actually, that was producing was drilled by Petrosen back in the 1980s. in which we have discovered some gas, and I think that well is still, that field is still producing, albeit at a very marginal, rate. And since then, there has been no onshore research activities. So this year alone, Petrosen invested about $16 million to jumpstart those activities, and we're going to invest more next year to ensure that we know about our basin, especially in the onshore. So those are the type of the project in which we are actually involved in.
Great insight, and we see that Petrosen is positioning itself as a key player in the region. So you talked about Yakaar-Teranga, Khady. Kosmos have been instrumental in the success of Senegal in terms of oil and gas production, especially in the GTA project. Could you share the current status and development outlook for Yakaar-Teranga gas project?
Thank you, Ibra, and good afternoon, everybody. I think we cannot talk about Yakaar-Teranga without mentioning the immense potential that this field represents for Senegal. As DG Gueye was saying, we are talking about 25 TCF of resource, which is enormous, enough to completely fuel the country, provide cheaper electricity, provide LPG, but even export, to tell you how big this resource is. So at Kosmos, we are fully aligned with the vision of the government to develop this field in the benefit of the country and of its population, with the aim of lowering the cost of electricity as soon as possible and fueling the industries. So we are working closely with our partner Petrosen and also with the government to find the right construct that we could put in place to put this project to life as soon as possible. We were talking this morning about action, about speediness in the project. So we are working with our partners, Petrosen mainly, to make sure that this project gets the best concept, the best construct that will allow it to be live as soon as possible.
Wonderful, great. So, Massaer, BP, Senegal, BP have invested huge amount of dollars in Senegal, especially in the GTA project. If I'm not mistaken, something around $5 billion US, huge amount. So today, BP is leading player in in GTA, but also in LNG exports. So, how does BP's Senegal strategy align with its global shift toward gas and LNG markets?
Thank you, Ibra. Thank you, all the delegates here present. I think this is a very timely question. I think if you take into account all the points raised by my co-panelists, just a few weeks ago, BP released its global energy outlook. And I would like to zoom out a little bit on that to give you a bigger perspective. According to the energy outlook for BP, the world as a whole is in an energy addition process. In other words, we will be consuming more oil and gas and more renewable energies for the next decades. And to give you some specific numbers, LNG, or natural gas, and a big part of that is LNG, will be expected to grow 50% from 2024 to 2035. So we are expecting a global growth of LNG, or natural gas in general, by 50% in about 10 years, which is a huge ask. And it just shows you the level of opportunities, resources in Senegal and Mauritania present, not just for Senegal and Mauritania, but for the world. And I think BP, having recently announced its reset of its strategy going towards more oil and gas, shows you that we are totally aligned with our project in Senegal, and they come at the right time for us. Not just for us as operators alongside Kosmos and SMH, but also for the state of Senegal and Mauritania, who are now LNG exporters, which in the world is a very select group of countries. So
quickly summarize the response to your question, this project could not come at a better time for BP as an operator, for Senegal and Mauritania as countries, but also hopefully for the future phases of this project.
Thank you, and we expect to see BP continue to investing in Senegal, I guess?
That's the plan.
So thank you. So looking at the downstream side, Habib, you are the CEO of Société Africaine de Raffinage, with huge, interesting projects. We've heard about SA 2.0 a lot. So with Senegal entering a new era of oil and gas, what is SA roadmap for expanding refining and technical capacity in order to play a stronger role across the value chain?
Thank you, Ibrahima. So first of all, just to remind that SA is pioneer about refinery activities in West Africa. SA has been founded on 1963, which means that, so first time being, we have to do some revamping project, but we have also to do some debottlenecking project. And just to remind about some historical data, so from 1983, so we did the first capacity increase project, which means that we did add something around 600,000 tons per year. And recently, so 3 years ago, so we did Akatebe's project. It was a debottlenecking project, and we did add 300,000 more. So which means that first time being, so we are reaching 1.5 million tons per year. Knowing that the national demand is around 3 million tons per year. So you can see that we have a gap to cover. The another thing to consider is, so it's a key goal for the government of Senegal to reach the energetical sovereignty. And SA will be a key role player about that. So that's why, as you said, so we have SA 2.0, which means that we have to have another, let's say, refinery, a second refinery, with 4 million tons per year in addition of 1.5 that we are having first time being. But we have also in our strategical plan, we have to go also to diversification of our activities, because we would like to use the opportunity of having synergies on oil and gas and go to petrochemical activities. So this is also a key goal of SA. In addition of revamping, but also for the time being, so we did start the international tender process for having a second sea line, for all about unloading crude, which is also a structured project that we are going to have. But in addition of that, so we will also have a school in SA in order to support all this project and to have the right human resources for diversification and also for the second refiners. Then you can see that first time being SA is playing a key role, and we have a good roadmap considering the production of oil and gas.
Wonderful, wonderful, and very insightful, and we expect to see all these put in place as soon, and we trust that it will be something really interesting and impactful for Senegal energy development. So let's forgo again conventional speeches and come back to Ibrahima, because we want to deep dive and discuss about specific topics. We have a lot of investors here. They want to hear about evolving issues in Senegal. The arbitration with Woodside has raised international attention. How is the ministry addressing this issue to ensure stability, protect Senegal's reputation as an attractive investment destination?
Thank you, Ibra, for this insightful question. And I think, as you mentioned, it's important to clarify a certain number of points. About this arbitration. And I think I already mentioned it at the beginning, saying that this process is something we have within the contract. So it is a mechanism already provided by the contracts. And we need to step back a bit to see what we are talking about here. This, first of all, so in many times we talk about this is the destabilization of the legal framework. This is the instability of the PSC. But I think it's not at all that the case. Here we are talking about the fiscal dispute between Woodside and the fiscal authorities. It's not something like breaking the stability or the host government agreement or something like this. This is a dispute, fiscal dispute about the transaction or the share of the using Sangomar. It's really important to clarify that point. We are talking about a fiscal dispute, not impacting the legal framework under the PSC. Woodside is a very excellent partner. We did a great thing with them, developing Sangomar project, which is currently an excellent project, delivering very well. And I would like also to precise, this process is ongoing, as it's a normal one, and not impacting the excellent relationship we have currently with Woodside. We are continuing to discuss, to seeing the future, and to talk about a lot of projects that we can do together with them, and letting this process going forward. So, I think it's important to clarify that there is a lot of opportunity in Senegal. Senegal is rich with its culture, with the great people that are living there, and we are offering a lot of opportunity, and our fiscal and regulation framework is really stable. And that's why we could have this kind of process that's happening, because when one partner is considering that there is some kind of breach of some kind of disposition of the contract, he has the process to claim that and to say, I consider that I'm not, let's say, how would I say that? The state is not behaving as the contract is saying. And that's, once again, is demonstrating the stability of our legal framework. And like I said, so the process is ongoing, and we are looking forward continuing to discuss with our good partner Woodside in order to have a good issue about this problem.
Yeah, what you have said is confirming what we've heard during the previous fireside chat. We've seen that the representative of Woodside discussing about Sangomar Phase 2.
Of course.
And that's something ensuring everybody regarding this process. Thank you very much for your responses. So coming back to Alioune on Petrosen activities, so how is Petrosen preparing to assume greater operational role and being national oil operator and national gas asset operator?
Okay, thank you. I think I'll ping back on the question that you asked about arbitration. And I just want to dissociate the word arbitration with stability. Okay? I believe arbitration has been backed in all contracts is when two partners do not agree on a certain number of things. One partner, after discussion, if you do not agree, we can go to a third party that can, make the arbitration. So I really want to make that dissociation, and to let also people know that, it is common in any contract to go to arbitration. Just to give you an example, with GTA, there has been 4 arbitration within GTA, between BP, Kosmos, BP, Golar, BP, and McDermott. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that doesn't prevent all parties to work together.
Exactly.
So arbitration, let's just put it into the context. It's normal to have it, and that doesn't mean that Senegal is not an attractive country or we are making life difficult for investors. I think we are reasonable people.
That's the normal life.
Exactly,
of
it's a normal life for contracts. So that said, for Petrosen, and this is something that I repeat all the time, we have been founded in 1981. And we have seen companies that have been founded years later that actually, go on an international spree and become, operators. So our ambition today is for Petrosen to become operators of our fields, starting with Yakaar-Teranga, with Fan, and then with what we have on our onshore. We believe that, we have the technical capability to go in there. One of the things that, was always a problem, I think for all the NOCs, all the African NOCs, was the money. Where are we going to get the money? Considering, for example, that Yakaar-Teranga today, our estimation is to develop it, that phase one where we will take the gas and then make it a gas to power would cost us about $4 to $5 billion. So that is a $1 million question. Where are we going to get the money? And we believe we have the solution. I think the minister just touched on it. And it is to ask the Senegalese people to invest in their oil and gas. I think Khady just touched on it. There is a lot of resources in there. 25 TCF can actually power the country for generations. It can also have an LNG piece for the international. It can actually even help power the rest of, West Africa. So we intend to explain the resources to the people and then have them invest in their resources. Because one of the lessons that we need to learn from all the ventures that we were into, and we are still into, GTA, Sangomar, is that if we don't take our responsibility and invest, make most of the investment ourselves, the same thing will be repeating all over. And I believe that's what has been, happening all over Africa. And something, need to change alongside that, that route. So we welcome all partners, but we, as Petrosen, as the state of Senegal, we will invest more. We will have more say in how the resources are extracted, how they are managed, and that is where Petrosen actually is going, toward.
Thank you. Khady, coming back to you, with the GTA project, the LNG project advancing and Yakaar-Teranga under discussion, how is Kosmos preparing to support Senegal domestic supply obligation while balancing export commitment?
Thank you, Ibra. At Kosmos, we have a very simple mantra. We are saying that when Senegal wins, Kosmos wins.
Great.
And we spoke about the importance of Yakaar-Teranga. We spoke about the importance of domestic gas for the country. We spoke about the immense potential that this dumb gas can bring to Senegal. So the response is very simple. We stand behind Senegal on this demand to get domestic gas, to fuel its industries, provide cheaper electricity to its people. So we stand behind the country very firmly and very clearly. That being said, we are at the first phase of GTA, phase one, and this project has an immense potential. I think that we are not saying this enough. This field has an immense potential. TCF, in terms of TCF, when you talk about Yakaar-Teranga and GTA, we are talking about 75 TCF of resource. This is immense. So the challenge for all of us today, for Petrosen, for BP, for the government, is to unlock the potential of this field, make sure that we can not only advance on phase 1+, but phase 2, so that we can deliver the promise that we collectively made initially when we signed the FID in 2018. So the potential is there, and we need to be able to unlock it and provide this gas from GTA across the world, across Senegal. When we talk about the GTA gas, I think that we don't also insist enough on the benefit that it can bring to European countries. We saw during the Ukraine and Russia crisis how important it was to have diverse source of LNG, and GTA can bring that. GTA can also bring a gas that has a lower carbon intensity. So it has 40% less carbon intensity when you compare it to gas coming from the US, and 25 less when you compare to gas coming from Qatar or from Nigeria. So this is a unique, I think, advantage that we have to promote better this gas from GTA and offer it not only to Senegal, but also to the rest of the world and to Europe in particular.
Wonderful. Huge information, 75 TCF. GTA should be a real game changer, if I heard your response. So, Massaer, I will not touch the DSO subject. Don't worry about that. What are the next milestones in scaling up LNG export from GTA, and what opportunities does this create for investors, local but also other investors coming around the world?
Well, I think my colleague Khady has touched on a very important point here. Just as a reminder, GTA started production, first gas earlier this year, back in January. We started our LNG export operations about 5 months ago. And BP, has a responsible operator, is working with its partners to make sure we are ramping up in a safe manner. We are going through our commissioning phases and making sure that everything is done the right way. And to step back a little bit, if you look back on those numbers that I quoted earlier, most of that 50% increase in LNG export expected around the world in the next 10 years, based on current LNG export facilities, both in construction or who has reached FID, will come from the Middle East and from the United States. So GTA has a project, is competing in a global framework. We have very interesting specs with regard to our gas. Khady has mentioned our low carbon intensity. Other sources of LNG around the world will have other specs that might be more attractive to other buyers. My point there is, as an operator, we will work with our partners to make sure that whatever we learn on the first phase of GTA, which, by the way, as a reminder, has taken us 9 to 10 years to build, which can sound like a long time, but in the LNG world, we see projects around the world that are way longer than that and who are still not reaching first LNG. So sometimes it's important to step back and maybe tap yourself or ourselves on the back a little bit on what we have achieved. So whatever we've learned on phase 1 of GTA, based on the subsurface, based on our production rate, based on cost, based on operation, will be used to inform the next phases of the project. And right now we are working with our partners, Kosmos, SMH, and Petrosen, with the state of Senegal and Mauritania, to come up with the best solutions, whether it's the technical solutions, what are the concepts that we will put in place to be able to develop in a very, let's say, the most economic way, all those resources that we think are in the ground and we hopefully can access in an economic manner that not only allows us to satisfy local demand for natural gas and potentially LNG, but also compete in a very competitive global market.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Massaer. So, Habib, you've talked about how SAR is impacting local workforce with the project you were discussing in the previous question. So, my question is how SAR is embedding local content into its operation, and from developing a skilled national workforce to building a competitive local supply chain.
Thank you, Ibra. So first of all, just to remind that SAR is a good example of benefits that we can get from local content policy. Because at the beginning, so at 1963. So the major shareholder was ELF. And then some years later, Total, which means that all key roles were filled by foreign people. But with the time, so we did get a knowledge transfer, and now I'm really delighted to say that 100% of roles in SAR are filled by Senegalese peoples, which means that it's a good achievement, which means that it's important to have local content policy. The second point is that, as I said before, so we are going to have a second refinery, we are going to petrochemical activities, and in our roadmap, we have decided to build this year SAR Academy, which means that it will be a school for SAR activities, for refining activities, but also for petrochemical activities. And with that, we will, let's say, train our people internally, but also we will try to take some young people around the SAR site, so it will be a social action also that SAR will do for young people in order to increase their employability and also to increase their skills and competencies for all about refinery and also petrochemical activities. So SAR Academy is planned to be, let's say, active this year, and in parallel also we are doing SAR Academy virtual, which means that it will be, let's say, some e-learnings that we will have. So I think it's a key point that we are going to develop in SAR. The second point also is that we are on discussion with the technical secretary of local content in Senegal. We did meet him, I think, some weeks ago in SAR, and now we have decided also to involve them in SAR 2.0, so at the beginning, in order to be sure that we are going to follow local content policy defined by the government of Senegal. The third thing is that we are signing some agreement with some schools in Senegal, like École Supérieure Polytechnique, so Polytechnic School in Senegal, so virtual university in Senegal as well, in order to be sure that for key roles, so we will have them from Senegal. Okay, and then in terms of project, for instance, for last 5 years, so we did provide some technical project to local companies, and we are talking about 150 million euro for the last 5 years. So which means that so we are really focusing on local content, and it's a key point for SAR.
Great, great, wonderful, thank you. Looking ahead, Ibrahima, what concrete steps the ministry taking to maintain momentum in offshore exploration and development projects in Senegal?
Thank you, Ibra. So I would like to mention that despite the great project that we are developing now, I mean GTA and Sangomar, the Senegalese basin remain unexplored. So it's underexplored because we have a lot of open blocks between the two big projects that have the high potential of discoveries of oil and gas. On the ministerial side, we are undertaking some kind of reforms, focusing on how we can attract more investors in our basin, and this strategy is developed by taking some very important decision as the resizing of the blocks, because currently, as you might see, so our block is quite a bigger one. So the idea here is to try to resize it by taking some kind of benchmark in our neighbor country that have success in the exploration strategy, and also by digitalization of our database. So the idea here is to get access more easier to the petroleum data to the investors. The aim behind is to access to ease the evaluation, the preliminary evaluation process, and also to enable that company to apply online, so to ease the process of application of the block. And the main milestones that we are currently working actually is the evaluation of our current code So I mean the 2019 code, and to see what kind of disposition we can integrate using that code in order to attract more investors in our basin and to relaunch the exploration, because we understand that this is a critical phase to put in place oil and gas industry in Senegal. So all that exploration need to be relaunched, and we are inviting all the investors to come and to see the potential that we have. So we are open for discussion, and all the some kind of parameter that we could be taken account in order to attract investment. We are open to discuss about it and to see, evaluate all that, and to see how all that parameter could be gathered in order to have a more attractive code, so comparing to our neighbor country, and relaunch definitively the exploration in Senegal.
Thank you. And Alioune, and maybe a question for all. So what opportunities do you see for regional collaboration? Senegal is part of the MSGBC region, and Senegal is one of the key countries producing oil, starting with gas also. What opportunities can you elaborate in terms of regional collaboration in order to strengthen the energy sector around the basin?
I think there are a lot of opportunities for regional collaboration. I was talking to some of my staff about the discovery that we had on the south with Guinea-Bissau. I believe on the offshore we do have some heavy oil that was supposed to be developed, I think with a Chinese even company, but because of some political difference, it wasn't done. But that's something that we want to revisit. I think there is a lot of resources there that we can do. And I'll just tacking back on this stuff. I believe what we have done in GTA, that collaboration with Mauritania on a field that straddles both countries, I believe that is like a good working example of what collaboration can do, for our countries. So today GTA we are, on exploitation phase. And we are doing it with Mauritania on a unitized field. So that is something that we can do also with Guinea-Bissau on the south. Looking at the whole basin, like the whole offshore basin, you go from the north, GTA, to the south, passing by Sangomar, it's just full of potential. We have also Rufisque offshore, which is there, in which I believe there are just a lot of resources for exploration. So all of this brings it back to your question, like what type of regional collaboration we can have. I believe we can provide electricity, we can provide gas to Guinea. I believe they are in the process of finishing up their Simandu, project in which we can give them gas. We can also do that for Mali. And there is this pipeline that goes from Nigeria all the way to Morocco, in which actually we're looking into selling gas, once we have Yakaar-Teranga finished and once we vamp up the production on GTA. So all of those are areas of collaboration. But beyond that, and this is something I told our colleagues in APO, I believe about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I believe with the experience that Angola has, Nigeria has, 6 years of experience, there should be more collaboration in terms of manpower, in terms of process, in terms of lesson learned, between all these countries, between all these NOCs, to be able to get to the next level, which is, becoming operators, all of us. So I think all of those are areas of collaboration that, we can have regionally and on an African level.
Yeah. Someone want to elaborate on that point, how Senegal can impact regional collaboration with this situation of producing oil and gas?
I think that Gueye said it all. With the GTA example, I think that we've seen a great example of collaboration. Yeah. And there is a lot that we can learn from this project. And I think that it's going to be a project that will, stay in the books for many, many, many years because it's unique in all of its form. It's a unique project. Technically, in terms of structure, in terms of governance, I mean, it's a unique project. So I think that Gueye said it all. And beyond that, I think that there is opportunity also at the West African level to share resources. And I think that he also mentioned how resources can be pulled from one country to another. And I think that this is a future step once we have all our projects fully on stream to see how we can share those resources with our neighbors.
You are done.
Yeah, maybe just to touch on the point, I think Khady and Ndiaye covered it all. Maybe just one thing to add is the GTA project shows us the level of importance it takes for local government leadership. I think GTA has a project where you are pooling resources to be developed in a competitive and economic way would not be possible without the leadership of both Senegal and Mauritania. And that level of political government engagement to make things happen, to drive the issues, I think, is required. And I think we are very lucky to be working in a region that has potential, not only in terms of the resources itself, but in terms of the collaborative approach that those governments already have. Those two ingredients are really critical to any unitized field. One thing to maybe close on from my perspective is that level of collaboration is also critical in terms of human capital. DG Diop of SAR mentioned it. BP has an operator when we first joined the GTA project with our partners. Before we even started GTA as a project, we've hired 50 young Senegalese and Mauritanians, engineers, trained in Senegal. We've sent them to the best schools in the United Kingdom, in Scotland. Not only did they get their UK training, but get all the certification required to work in an offshore field as proper engineers. Those young Senegalese ladies and young men, Mauritanian young ladies and young men, were sent across the world in 4 BP regions, in Azerbaijan, in Indonesia, in Trinidad and Tobago, and in Oman, where we involved them in current projects that BP is operating around the world to give them world-class training. And right now, I'm very proud to say that those young people and young engineers are coming back home to fully integrate our operations in Senegal and Mauritania. And I think that level of approach really makes sure we are leaving a legacy of human capital, not just for our project, but for the countries in general.
Good example, good example. Thank you for sharing this. And Habib, in terms of regional opportunities, you talked about SAR 2.0. Yes. What regional export opportunities could we oversee regarding this project?
So just coming back again about the name of our company. So it's Société Africaine.
African company.
Société Africaine, reaffirmed, which means that it's African company.
Regional company.
We didn't call it Senegalese company.
Yeah.
So which means that economical integration of Africa is one of our key values, which means that we are having a strong collaboration with all refiners and distributors in Africa. And we are a member of ADDA, which is the organization of refiners and distributors in Africa. When I say SAR Academy, which is the school of SAR, it's not only for SAR, but it will be for all refineries in Africa, because we have the same needs in terms of trainings. So why going to other countries in order to train our people? We can do it in Africa. So which is one also of our goal, which means that we are also thinking about having regional collaboration and opportunities. The second thing is for SAR 2.0. As I said before, our demand for the time being is 3 million tons per year. But our goal with SAR 2.0 is to go to more than 5 million, between 5 and 6 million tons per year, which means that our idea is also to provide oils to other countries around Africa. So it's also another opportunity that we are having with SAR 2.0. So which means that, again, the goal of SAR is so sensitive about collaboration in Africa. Pan-Africanism is one of our key values, and we are going to keep that and to maintain this dynamic.
Thank you, thank you. Maybe we have 7 minutes to go. I don't know if we have time for questions for the public, Q&A session. Is it possible? No? So I think we have been discussing about very interesting topics. And ladies and gentlemen, what we have heard today, Senegal is entering new chapter of producer, exporter, but also a regional energy hub. And from exploration, gas, refinery, the opportunities are significant. We've heard about the ministry position regarding the renegotiation of contract, which is not really an issue for investors. It's about normal life of any contracts around the world, as they explained. Then our panel reminded us that investment, stability, and transparency will be key for attracting global partners. And I would like to sincerely thank our distinguished speakers. At the beginning, I asked you to give a round of applause without any response. So now I ask you to give a huge round of applause regarding these insights. And thank you.